right here we have several different varieties. This one is called the arrow bamboo. Now this one is one that gives bamboo a bad name because it travels underground for as far as it's tall. You turn around, you'll see it's going that way, it's going that way, it's going that way, and it went the other way too. So the people say, oh, yeah, that bamboo will take over. They're talking about this kind of bamboo, this runner type. But then we also have this amazing giant bamboo here. We call this the dragon's nest bamboo because it's very impenetrable and kind of messy. And it's growing brand new shoots right now. Maybe, oh, here's one right here. Just came up out of the ground. You see it's no taller than that. And it'll grow straight up and then like the big stalking asparagus until it gets to the top. And it's to its height of like 50 feet, and then it will start to get its side shoots like elastic. And then the leaves actually feed the roots of the tree so it gets bigger and stronger. Right now it's a little fragile. It actually can be broken very easily. But once they're big and strong, then they hold their very resilient, very tough fibers in there. People make flooring and all kinds of wonderful. And over here on your right is another kind of bamboo. This one is, they call it the multiplex. It doesn't get any bigger around than this. But this one is a beautiful, they call it the gold stripe. It has the golden canes and a little bit of a green stripe in it. And then there's some of the solid green that are mixed in it. But you can see there's the arrow bamboo. It's still traveling. The museum initially was started with a garden back in 1946, and they called it the War Memorial because it was at the very end of World War II. And inside there's a monument, a plaque on the wall for the men who lived in Ormond Beach that fought in World War II. But a few years ago we continued on and we added a couple more memorials. And this one is for the Vietnam War conflict. And then there's another one further down that is for the Korean War conflict. So it's very emotional with this one. And then here I want to bring your attention to these brand new bananas. You see how they're coming right out of the plant? That big purple thing is called a bract. And what it does is it had those little tiny flowers and the bananas underneath that leaf, and as it lifted up, then the bees fertilized it and they turned into baby bananas. You can see there's a group of them hanging over the pond over here. That there's even, those are more mature, they came out later. And they get bigger and fatter, but they're not like the kind you buy in the grocery store because they can withstand the colder temperatures here that we have in the wintertime without completely dying. So they call them lady fingers, but that's a pretty good, this one. Now this one came out earlier and it didn't have enough water, so the bananas didn't form very well. We also have a lot of native plants in here, the big trees, and does anybody know what that big sound is?
Cricket.
It's called a cicada, and it looks like a really huge fly, and it makes that noise by rubbing its feet together. It's the males that are looking for a female, and they think that they like that. But for us, this tree right here is called the magnolia tree. It gets these really beautiful. Was that a big one? Where? Oh, look at this little tiny spider. This is called an orb spider. He kind of looks like a crab. He's got like a shell on him. But then these are like the little seed pods that have fallen from this big tree here, this big magnolia tree. And the little seeds would be hiding inside of there. This beautiful, beautiful tree. This is a beautiful elm tree. Now there aren't too many of these elm trees left up north because there was a little beetle that came and burrowed into the bark and brought a fungus with them that actually killed all of those elm trees. We have a similar problem with our red bay trees. The bay leaf that your mom might put in your spaghetti sauce, you know, for seasoning. That these little tiny beetles are coming and they're bringing this fungus that actually stops the tree from drinking water. But this one is healthy because it's isolated from the other elm trees. But then they have this very interesting plant that's hanging on here. And this is called a staghorn fern. It's a type of fern. And if you look and you see the do not make flowers and seeds like a lot of plants, but they have these little spores that form there, and then they'll float off and they'll land on a piece of bark and maybe turn into another little plant. Now these plants will not take anything from the tree. They're holding on to the tree with their roots, but they won't they're not parasitic on the tree. Yes. What is the brown thing part of it? They call those the sterile fronds, and that actually, it creates like a ball that holds the roots in place. Underneath those brown things are the roots, and then the roots are actually going into the tree. So it actually creates its own little flower pot. Isn't that interesting? Okay, now we have a hill here that is natural. It was actually part of the dune system. And on the top of the hill, it's like what I think it's the highest point in Ormond Beach, natural ground, and we have a huge oak tree at the top. But we also can see the top of the waterfall, so we'll go up there and take a look. This is a really wonderful fragrant flower. This smells like a gardenia. Does anybody know what a gardenia is? This is called a butterfly ginger. Smell it. Isn't that nice? Yeah, sure. Okay, have to give them room. Yeah, the ants like to eat the little nectar on there. So those plants that are floating in the water, they're called water hydrangeas. Look at this, isn't this amazing? This is the roots hang down, and it has these little flotation devices. These little things are filled with air, little air pockets that make it lighter than the water so that it can float on the surface. These are very helpful. You want to squish it? Touch it. Whoa. It's just kind of little. Yeah, they get a really beautiful flower in the bright sun that they're not blooming right now. They really help to clean the water because they take up the nutrients in their roots, and then they transmute all of the extra nitrogen that might get into the water. And they also make a nice place for the turtles they can eat them, and they can also hang out on them if there's no water. Now inside the gazebo, we have a labyrinth. Does anybody know what a labyrinth is? There's a little description here. Would somebody like to read this to the crowd? Okay. Now speak loudly so everybody can hear. What's your name? Joshua. Everybody listen to Joshua, and then we're going to walk the labyrinth. We're kind of going to do it like a follow the leader thing.
The labyrinth is a symbol of a tool for healing and wholeness. Follow the path, walking slowly toward the center. We can confirm and let go, standing quietly in the center, taking a deep space within, retracing your steps, being open to receive new insight, peace, and healing.
That sounds pretty good, huh? Okay, I'm going to go first, and then what you do is you go into